How's it going, you lot? What a wonderful day it is. So I've been reading, I've done that little video recently, didn't I, about my advice on how you can afford to buy RC cars for your hobby. And I was looking at the comments on that, and it seems to have done quite well in the way of there's people that can relate to the stuff that I was saying. That's what they do as well. But also it seems there's some people that have listened to what I've said and they found that they were spending far too much money on things they didn't need to spend money on. For example, subscriptions to things. You know, you've got Ring doorbells. Amazon is a really bad one. Always £100, isn't it now? £100 a year. Sounds like it's raining outside. I've got a Nitro car outside. Let me just go and get that in. Don't want it to get too wet. Oh, there we go. My apologies. I've got a Savage and a tool bag outside. I'll just put it by the door from when I come back this morning, and it's starting to rain again out there. Go and get in quick. Anyway, it seems people are starting to realise that they might be spending too much on subscriptions. As I was saying, Amazon's a bad one, £100 a year. And what would you get? I mean, it used to be okay, it used to be good. We used to have Amazon and I quite liked it. I went through a phase of buying most things on Amazon. I got caught up in it, and when they bring out that Amazon pantry, you could get foods and things delivered in a cardboard box, big cardboard box, and you could get foods that you wouldn't be able to buy in the supermarkets and things like that, and that appealed to me. But then it became, they want your subscription, £100 a year, but then you have to pay more for this. You know, there's nothing on Amazon Prime anymore. Well, there is stuff on there that I like, but you have to pay extra for it. So you pay your subscription annually subscription, £100, but then if you want to watch something, you have to pay another £8 to rent a bloody film. Nothing's included anymore. And also the delivery. Some of you might think, okay, well, the delivery then, I'm paying £100 a year, but I get free. Well, it's not free because you pay for it, don't forget, but you get delivery next day or same day. Well, I don't know about where you live, but there is no same day delivery anymore, and the next day delivery costs extra money on top of your subscription. So it ain't worth it. We got rid of it last year entirely. In fact, all subscription services are completely gone from our finances anyway. Anyway, I'm not here to tell you about how we run our finances, but it seems some of you have realised that you're spending too much money on things you don't need or don't use to the full potential. And if you're looking to get into, or you're in a hobby but you think you can't afford things, and you're looking around and people have this, people have that, and you think, how do people afford that? I've got a fairly decent job. You know, I don't have loads of stuff, but I still can't afford anything. I can't afford to do this hobby. I can't afford to buy Nitro cars. People are buying them left, right and centre. You know, how do people go out and buy some new wheels and tyres? How do people go and get a new engine? I can't afford any of that. Well, it seems, you know, some of you lot, and what you need to do is, you just need to have a revelation. You know, there was a point, I don't like talking about finances, but if it helps you, I'll go through. There was a point, probably about, by the way, none of this is ever advice. I'm not any type of financial person. I'm the last person that will give any type of financial advice. I'm just telling you my experience from being alive for just over 30 years, and what I've learned about, you know, being able to afford a hobby as well as everything else. This is my guide on how to be able to afford a hobby as well as live a normal life. So I'm going to say it's probably about 10 years ago. You know, I was doing normal Monday to Friday. I do a Saturday morning now and again, and it just seemed every time I get paid, it would come in and go straight back out again. You know, I never have any money left over, and I just was sitting there one day and I thought to myself, I've got a reasonable job. I'm earning a reasonable amount of money. At the time there was 3 of us. You know, we only had 1 kid then. we should have money left over, and I should be able to, because I wanted to buy a few Nitro cars, second-hand ones. I wanted to get different bits and bobs, just to have a general hobby. And I thought, this isn't right, man. I should have money left over. Like, I should be able to do it, live, have a hobby, and have a little bit of savings, and have a bit left over. This isn't right. And when this is the lesson. Always make sure that you look at your banks. Make sure you know what you're spending. Don't ever just not look. And these days I look at the bank every single day, and I know every single bit of money that comes out. That's how I know when when my details got nicked at the beginning of 2026, and all that money got spent, because I looked at it at that hour, and I see it happening. If I hadn't looked, I wouldn't have known. It could have gone, weeks could have gone past, and I could have got into a hell of a lot of trouble. Anyway, back to the point. So I had a look, and I realised that we had subscription things, Netflix, and which wasn't for me, it was for the wife and the kid. One kid at the time. Netflix and Amazon, and the stupid Ring subscription cameras. You don't need a subscription camera. There's plenty of security cameras, CCTV cameras, if you want cameras and doorbells, where you buy them. They're more money to buy outright, but there's no subscription. So you pay the lump and you've got it then, and it's over that you get it on your phone, do whatever. So it is more money to buy lump, but you don't have a subscription every month coming out, which costs you thousands in the long run. Say you have some Ring cameras and a Ring doorbell for 5 years. Think how much that adds up. You've paid the £100 or whatever it is to buy the bloody doorbell in the first place, and then you're paying $7.99, $8.99, whatever it is, every month for 5 years on top of that. Yeah, it mounts up. It's a lot of money. You could just spend £400, £500, £600 on a CCTV system with a doorbell. That's it then. No more fees, nothing. That's it, forever. So anyway, we had all these subscription things, and I'm thinking, do we even? So I had a chat with the missus. She's the type of person where she just wants everything, regardless of price. If other people have Netflix, she wants Netflix. Do you watch Netflix? No. Why do you want it? Well, everyone else has. Anyway, we sorted all that out and got rid of all the subscriptions, all the unnecessary payments. We stopped buying branded food, something you could look at. Branded stuff. Do you need, you like cheese and onion crisps? Walker's cheese and onion crisps for a pack of 6, £3.25 at the moment. I know that because I had to buy some, because I've got one kid. One of them only eats Walker's. She won't eat any other brand. I know. I've been there. You don't need to tell me. Anyway, £3.25. Sainsbury's own brand pack of 6 cheese and onion crisps, £1.25. Alright? In my opinion, they taste exactly the same. They look exactly the same and taste exactly the same. But look at it. Do you need to buy loads of branded food? You can save a lot of money by buying, either don't buy the food that you don't need to buy, treat yourself now and again, but don't get it all the time. It becomes better then, more of a treat if you don't have a certain food all the time. But also, don't buy branded stuff, as I've just said, if the supermarket's own brand is available, give it a go. Weigh things up, but be frugal about it. And you'll find that you'll have more money left over in general, but that means if you want to take up a hobby, for example Nitro, or just electric RC, it's RC in general, because this is an RC channel and I'm trying to help you, give a guidance to you about how you can afford a hobby. That's the point of this video. I know I go off a bit and I talk about stuff and I go off the train tracks a little bit sometimes, but that's the aim. So if you look at your general life and your spending habits, you'll find that you'll have more money left over. And don't dribble everywhere because it's rude. But you'll find, oh my giddy aunt, you'll find that before long you'll feel freer, because you won't be under that stress all the time of going to work, earning your money, it going straight back out, and yeah, you're living, you're paying your bills, you've got no debt or anything, but you've got no money left, and you want to do a hobby, you want to be able to unwind, you want to be able to go down the park and take up a radio controlled car hobby, or maybe it's boats or planes you want to do, or maybe it's another hobby and you're watching this just because. If you do what I said and look at what you're spending your money on and try to save where you can save, buy unbranded stuff where there is the option to, or just cut certain things out altogether, you have less money in total. You have more money in total and less. You'll have more money in total because you'll be saving it. So that means that you can then maybe save some more money. Savings is very important. Maybe you can save some more money then, but also do the hobby you want to take up. There'll be less stress on you, and you'll be able to do the hobby you want. You'll be able to, if you want to go, if you've got an old Nitro car where the engine's knackered and it's not really any fun anymore because it doesn't really run very well, but you can't afford a new engine. After a couple of weeks, if you save 20 or 30 pounds on your weekly food shop, for example, there's 4 of us. We're a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children. We were spending around about £120 a week on the weekly food shop. Some people shop monthly, some people shop daily, some people go down the shop every day to get the dinner and lunch or whatever. We do it weekly, get what we need for the week, etc, etc. And also we have a chest freezer, and we go down to a place called Iceland probably every couple of months and bulk buy frozen stuff like frozen pies, things like that, the little letters that the kids like to eat, the potato letters, chicken nuggets, stuff like that for dinners and whatever else. But that's a different thing. We're spending about £120 a week for ages. And then when I had this revelation that we don't need to keep buying bloody branded stuff, there's other options out there that are cheaper and are exactly the same. Now we spend about £80 a week on, and that's everything. That's a meal every evening for the week. That's lunch for the kids to take to school, for me to go to work with, and the missus whatever she wants for lunch. And milk, bread, whatever. About £80 a week for 4 of us. And that's just by not buying the overpriced, expensive branded stuff. Buy the supermarket own branded, or just cut things out, because a few things we cut out altogether that we buy all the time, but it sits in the cupboard, and sometimes you'd be half of it gone, but the rest of it's gone mouldy, and you say that's a waste. Chocolate spread, peanut butter, things like that. Kids want it. Half a jar, it goes in the back of the cupboard, you forget about it, I forget about it, I'm like, oh, bloody peanut butter in the cupboard. I look at it, it's out of date, open it up, full of fur. Green bloody mould in it. And you think, why? So some things we just cut out altogether, because we don't miss. Now and again treat ourselves with it. But again, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but coffee is another one. Tea or coffee, Kenko, Nescafe, all that kind of stuff. It's like £6-7 for a bloody jar, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, I must admit. I'll tell you why in a minute. But if you buy supermarket own branded stuff, a lot of the time it's cheaper. I think Sainsbury's own branded coffee is about £2, £1.99 or £2 at the time of me filming this. I've just been to Sainsbury's today, and I'm pretty sure it was about £2 for the big jar of just, I don't know what it is, just instant coffee, instant stuff, whereas the Kenko stuff or the Nescafe stuff or the Dough Egberts or whatever it is about £7-8 for the same size jar. Argue amongst yourself about quality and all that kind of stuff. The Sainsbury's stuff is also fair trade. The own branded stuff is also supposed to be fair trade and all this kind of stuff. So you save a lot of money there. Now, I am a bit of a hypocrite because I don't I don't drink a lot of coffee. I know you always see me with one. Usually I just make one to bring it out here with me, just for something to drink while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I don't really like the supermarket own branded stuff. When I say I don't really like it, I don't go, oh, this is the best coffee I've ever had. It's a drink which is okay to drink. Now and again, if I'm able to and I feel like it, I will treat myself to a jar of the branded stuff, you know. And you do notice the difference. Well, I do anyway. And I think that was a good treat. I'm happy with myself. You know, a jar of it for me lasts probably a month anyway, because I don't drink a lot of it. Maybe more than a month. So yeah, but have a look at it. Have a look at what you buy and think, are you a bit of a brand snob? Do you need to be? Give cheaper options a go. And you know, you'll be able to afford more stuff. You'll be able to do hobbies and things that you couldn't do before. And you might think that's usually how a lot of people do it. You know, I've spoken to people in the last couple of years that they use credit cards and they borrow money to do their weekly food shop. Jesus, that's a serious situation if you're in that type of situation. Blooming well is, I'll tell you that. This Kyosho MP9, it's in the box. It's my personal Kyosho MP9, which I bought brand new. And you've seen it on many videos. There's a chicken, there's a budgie feather stuck to it. I'll just remove that. Yeah, it's in the box. I treated it well. I put a few different engines in it in the past. It's still got the original what is it? KE21 engine in it. I'm thinking it's time to let it go. It's time to pass it on. A lot of you lot have been asking me for it for years. I bought it in 2017. Was it 2017? Or was it 2019? Ooh, it might have been 2019. I can't remember exactly. Or was it 21? Oh my god. I'll have to go back to the... I filmed when I bought it, so I have to go back to see when that video came out. Anyway, I might raffle it off. So it's a gamble raffling it, because I might lose a load of money on it, and I kind of need money at the moment. But I might raffle it off, or I might just sell it. So if you're in a situation where you are quite frugal and you want to buy that from me, or if you think I should raffle it, would you buy a ticket? I don't know what to do. I want you guys' opinion. Raffle it, and you can all buy tickets. One of you might win it, or if you want to buy it from me, it's an MP9. It's all standard. I think it's all standard. I'll put little shock guard things on it. Let me know, and we'll sort something out. But yeah, it's time to pass that on to one of you lot. Happy days. Oh, I was just about to say goodbye, but I've had another thought. Bloody hell, this is turning into bloody life advice, isn't it? I'm the last person to be given any sort of life advice. That's for sure, man. Jesus. Anyway, as I say, this is just experience for me. I can only give experience from the way I've experienced life. I can only give experience. I can only give advice or guidance from the way that I've experienced life. You know, and if I can help some of you, you know, because as I say, I've been in the situation where I'm thinking, bloody hell, I'm going to work every day, and I'm earning a reasonable amount of money compared to some other people, and I've still got nothing left. You know, so I'm trying to give you the realizations that I've had. And one of the other things is, when it comes to things like your consumption in your home, like your electric and your gas, things like that, off-peak, do it off-peak. So for a while now, we've been doing the washing. We've been doing a lot less washing. I mean, I wear the same clothes every day. Unless they start to smell or if they get dirty, but I wear the same clothes every day. Yeah, the less washing the missus has to do, the better. But also, it's easier in my pocket as well. Yeah, we were doing 3 loads of washing no, sorry, 6 loads of washing a week. Yeah, because you do 2 Friday and a Wednesday would be wash days. It was ridiculous, you know, the amount of water, the amount of electric that was using. And just by me wearing the same clothes every day, that's been cut down now. 1 load of washing between all 4 of us every week now. And that has made a massive difference. We save hundreds of pounds a year now on the electric and water. And the thing is, if you do the washing, yeah, so if you're not going to be awake, so have a look with your energy provider. You know, Octopus is quite good. We use Octopus, and usually around about 10 o'clock, between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. But check with yours. But with ours, it's between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. That's considered to be off peak. So the electric and the gas, it's actually cheaper as compared to when it's on demand in the daytime, because that's just the way they are. You know, business, isn't it? You know, when people want what you've got, charge more for it, because they'll pay it because they want it. When they don't want it, you can charge a bit less. Yeah, when they want it, you charge more. That's business. So, well, I don't really get it though, because they advertise use your electric off peak. Then surely, if everybody goes to the off peak times, which is at night, that will then become peak time, wouldn't it? Because everybody's using it. So then what was peak will then become off peak. I don't know. I don't really care. All I can tell you is it works and it saves money. Sometimes we're not awake at 10 o'clock at night. So we put the timer on the washing machine to start at 4 a.m. and then it's finished by the time I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I wake up, 5 o'clock to go to work. It's finished. I get it out of the washing machine. It's only just finished, so it hasn't sat in there for hours. I hang it out. I go to work. Yeah? It does save money. Try it. You know, things like that. And before you know it, you'll have all your hobbies you want to do. You'll have all the RC cars you want to buy. And you won't be borrowing any money. Like I said, you lot, none of that is intended as advice just to sort of make you a millionaire. I'm just a normal person. I live week to week, you know. We're not wealthy in that aspect. We're not financially free, but those are just some advice from what you lot have been saying to me. You know, how do you buy this? How do people buy this? I can't buy anything, you know, and it makes me feel a bit sad for some of you lot. If you all you want is a hobby, you just want an RC car but you can't afford it. So I thought I'd try to give you try to pass on some of the experience that I've learned, you know, because obviously I'm a dad, you know, family of 4, husband. It's my job to be able to look after things like that, you know. And obviously I've learned a few things over the years from people that know better. That's another piece of advice. I should have given that earlier. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Listen to the people who know. Your parents, your mum and dad. If they own their own home and they're successful and they're not in rampant debt. If they're in rampant debt, don't listen to them. Simple as that. But if they're okay, yeah, and they're doing well, listen to the advice they've got. My mum and dad have taught me loads. Yeah. And I always listen to them. Always listen to the people who know. Whether it's somebody at work that's older than you, that is doing quite well, they own their own home, and you know, they're not borrowing mountains of money to be able to pay for stuff, and they're doing okay. Listen to what they might have to say. You don't have to be constantly trying to impress everybody else. Yeah. Oh, that's another bit. Why didn't I say that earlier? Don't impress everyone else, you know. You're not out there to impress everyone. You're out there to make your life how you want to live it and make yourself happy. And, you know, you don't have to be flashy. You don't have to have a flashy car. You don't have to have flashy clothes. You don't have to have everything. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't always try and impress everybody else. Keep yourself happy. Look poor and act dumb. That is another piece of good advice that somebody gave me. when I was a teenager. I was working with this old bloke, and he looked like he literally crawled out of a hedge every day. But then I learned that he had a very nice house, and he was very well off. And I just said to him one day, I said, bearing in mind I'm a teenager, I'm 16 years old, just left school, gone into an apprenticeship, didn't know anything. And I said, why do you dress like that when I've now learned that you live in a house like you do? And he said, he was one of them people, he goes, son, look poor and act dumb, and you won't have any trouble in your life. And it seems to be true, you know. You don't have to impress anybody. Nobody. The only person I try to impress in life is my wife. That's the only person I try. I never succeed. Try. And that's it. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Take care, you lot. All the best. Treat people nicely. And as I say, I'm not trying to give you any advice on anything. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to give you my experience in life when it comes to being able to sustain a hobby as well as living day to day. This is a continuation of the video I did the other day. I'll see you later. Any questions or any advice that you'd like to give me, or any advice you'd like to give other people, comment it. I'm always open to hearing and accepting advice and criticism, constructive criticism that is. And yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, you lot. Take care. All the best. Love.